natural drift. It's a very unnatural four-wheel drift with a lot of understeer in it. But hey, it's a different way, it's a different technique, and let's see how different it makes the car feel.
So setting off here in the 2023 Integra. So the first thing you notice about this, well, you have a really nice low impressed by the most with these RS models is the smooth ride actually. Whenever you're in the auto or the comfort modes, it is wild that we're on 23-inch wheels and this thing still rides super smooth. And so part of how it does that is that it has an adaptive air suspension as standard, and then you also have active roll control, which is a 48-volt system for the anti-stabilizer bars to really help and maximize the smoothness, so that even if one wheel is doing something different than the other wheel, it all is going to perfectly glide over it. And it really is as close to a magic carpet ride as you can get for something, again, that has this kind of a setup and is as sporty as this is. And it is just so good. And so if you see wheels like this and you're like, oh man, it's gonna be a rough ride, it's not. That's always one of my favorite things about these top end Audis. Other things though that I love, you have great amount of throttle response. As soon as you start tipping into the gas pedal, you get some nice response. The transmission's really responsive here as well, and just really set up well from what I can tell so far. Brakes also have a good amount of bite right as you get towards the top of the pedal there. It starts to clamp down. It's not super sensitive though. It's a little less sensitive than like BMWs that I've experienced in the past. This, you're able to have a little bit of dead travel so that you can easily be smooth with them and just really easy to use, which is also impressive considering these are massive brakes. There are 10 piston calipers on the front, and you can get carbon ceramics as an option. This one does not have that, but I think they're still over 17 inches for the rotors. I mean, just massive brakes on this thing, which you're going to need for a vehicle that's almost 5,500 pounds. Other things, that visibility is great. You have a great view forward. You're sitting up nice and high in these, and you really feel like you're sitting up really high. It's you feel like you're in a large SUV for sure. Not as large as a body on frame thing or anything, but pretty big.
That was 140, and even if we are at that speed, 130 kilometers an hour now at the moment, or like some 80 miles an hour. I mean, it feels like accelerating with some other cars from standstill, and you're already at speed, and it's just always going. It's really incredible, and at the same time, you can remove the RS modes and use it cruisingly. Air suspension is standard. The rear axle steering is also standard for this version here, so you're agile lower speeds, but also more stable at higher speeds. Even in the normal driving mode, a lane change is so flawless, super precise steering wheel, and so much fun. Great grip with the microfiber surface of the steering wheel. And now we're driving 160 kilometers an hour, and it feels like nothing. The noise isolation, superb, is super silent in here. I mean, it stands like a cupboard, so against the wind, in one way. Yeah, sitting on the inside, you don't feel it at all. That's really superb. And even the RS mode, everything is more optimized. Air suspension is stiffer. We're going a little bit lower. But still, this car is so well to control. The overdrive classic quattro with the rear wheel biased. Rear wheel biased is of course really cool. Oh, there's the police. Can we tease them a little bit? Nah, we would never do that.
Let's add the extra things.
Yeah, the good thing is, in this case, what we're doing at the moment is absolutely legal. Now 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour, and once again, super stable on the road. It's like nothing for this car, and wow, so much in control at higher speeds. We rarely find that with any other SUV. Yeah, Porsche Cayenne is surely something which you can compare as well for this stability at higher speeds. Wow, just superb. There is a Dynamic Package Plus in this vehicle. That means unlocked top speed to 305 kilometers an hour or 190 miles per hour. That's of course super insane, and for you to say, I enjoy driving fast, yes, but usually I keep it, at maximum like 160 kilometers an hour or something, so around 100 miles per hour.
And let's turn down onto this back road here and see how it does. Here we go. All right, there it is. Woo! And it takes off like crazy. But there's an interesting delay there where it didn't want to do anything there for a second, and then figured out what I wanted to do. So it's interesting. We have the transmission in its sport mode. It does it automatically whenever you're in the RS2 mode here. But launch control is really where you're going to have the most magic as far as the acceleration, and we will test out launch control here in a few minutes. But as far as the regular acceleration, it's still very, very strong. We're running a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 engine that's, again, familiar from all the other RS models for a while here in these upper ranges. And so it does 591 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. It's quoted at a 3.5 second 0 to 60 time, but the car and driver actually managed to get 3.2 seconds in their testing a couple of years ago. So, could be even better than that. That might be a conservative rating. And with a 0 to 60 time, it's only 0.1 seconds slower than a Lamborghini Urus, for example. I mean, for that being $100,000 more, obviously there's other things you get with that extra price tag, but straight line acceleration isn't a huge improvement with that. So, this is really the bargain performance one of the bunch in a way, and it's $140,000 price tag as tested. But it's a little slow to get a downshift sometimes, but thankfully, you do have the manual shifting here, so we will go ahead and play with that. Oh, got some crackles out of the exhaust. This is the sport exhaust this one has, by the way. I got cracks on all those upshifts, and they're nice sharp upshifts here, at least in the RS2 mode. Really well done. I like that exhaust. That sounds really good. It almost sounds a little louder than even the RS6 Avant. By the way, this road that we're on currently usually generates a lot of road noise. You can't even tell that I'm on this rough road because this thing is so well insulated and so quiet. But anyway, coming up some corners here I always take, and let's see how the RS-Q8 handles. Right, it really sticks well. I mean, you do have a higher center of gravity, so you're going to give up some handling to the RS6 Avant. That is going to be the handling champ if you want this powertrain in a usable, practical package. That's still going to be the top recommendation. But if you want the extra ground clearance, this has about 3 extra inches of ground clearance over the RS6 Avant. And if you want that extra ground clearance, or you just don't want to bend over into a slinky wagon, this still has some really good handling. You have 295 wide tires. They're Continental summer tires all the way around here. You also have an active differential there in the back. It does torque vectoring. You have rear wheel steering as well, which helps this to really, just have a smaller turning radius and just really dive into corners better. And it's really throwing around my camera gear back there really well too. But it's really flat, and again, this is where that active roll stabilization really comes in handy because it does feel perfectly flat. There is no lean, there is no sloppiness, there's no play at all really, while still again giving you a very smooth ride. It really is remarkable the magic that they've worked with these RS models. I even tried to provoke it a little bit there going around that corner, and it still stayed stuck really well. So I'm sure the curb weight helps, the nice wide tires help, but it never feels top heavy or anything, even though you have a higher center of gravity. It's just that it doesn't feel quite as low slung, and it just feels a little higher up. So I feel like I have lower limits for sure than the RS6 Avant. That probably goes without saying, but just wanted to put it out there. You do compromise a little bit on the handling. But let's attempt a launch here. Got RS2 mode on. All right, launch control activated. Wow, there we go. Wow, that is impressive. Woo, that was a rush. This thing is really vicious in that launch control mode. Man, the whole nose lifts up and it just takes off like a rocket. Man, that is fun. Yep, that is where you get the response you're looking for. And otherwise, I mean, this transmission still, whenever you're in the RS2 mode, it does give you, downshifts pretty quick and does get a pretty good idea of what you want to do. It's not perfectly telepathic though, by the way. It is an 8-speed automatic, I neglected to mention earlier. So 8 gears to pick from here, but I love the manual shifting, and the fact that it gives you the crackles and the pops when you do it as well, kind of incentivizes you to, even do the manual shifts a little bit more than you probably would normally. And they just work so well that this is a vehicle I would actually probably paddle shift around a good bit of the time. And I will have this vehicle for an entire week, so I will see, what I end up doing here over the course of the week, and whether or not I get annoyed with the automatic or, just give up and do the manual shifting all the time or what. But man, and it's funny though, because I think it is trying to preserve the drivetrain a little bit here because it does feel like it's holding back boost for those first few thousand RPM, and then it really lets go. I don't think with a twin turbo there shouldn't be any kind of turbo lag or high turbo boost threshold. It's just the way they set it up to kind of wait a little bit and then rip your head off, which is fun. It kind of reminds me of the old school turbos a little bit. Not as extreme as those. Some of those you wait until 4,000 RPM to get anything. This still has a very progressive build, but it's just certainly there's a little bit of a waiting period there, but it's fun and I really love it. So yeah, I'm here for it. I think this is just so fun the way it's up. And it's the same as the RS6 a lot. Yeah, same as the RS7 and all those, and just as much fun as it is in all those. And it's impressive that a vehicle putting this powertrain into a vehicle as big as this is, that you're still getting basically a 3 seconds 0 to 60 time, and you're still having the insane performance. It just shows how strong this motor is. That even whenever it's saddled with 5,500 pounds, it just doesn't even break a sweat still. It just still pulls like a freight train.
Yeah, that's totally German talking. Like, I'm not driving fast. It's just 160 kilometers an hour. Yeah, sorry, that's really German talk. I know. But my point is that driving fast usually also doesn't make any sense because there are other cars going in your lane and you have to be super cautious. So when you have like a three lanes here, German Autobahn, and the speed is really unrestricted, then 160 kilometers an hour is a good speed where you can keep it on the left lane and then relax. Sometimes maybe a little bit faster, sometimes a little bit slower, but you can kind of have a good flow, something like that. Yeah. Then the unlimited speed for this Travis dynamic package not really needed. What's also interesting that there are the ceramic brakes in that, so super great braking performance. They also do not have this effect. Sometimes when we have the ceramic brakes with passenger cars here, you feel that you have to push them more. Here it's super easy. You don't even feel you have the brakes, but you still have more braking power. And although 23-inch wheels, it's still great in comfort. It's a sportier setup, but still this car is really very good in comfort. Upright seating position. Only what I said earlier, this this quilting on the seat, this special stitching, that makes the ride more uncomfortable. They should have not gone for that. And of course, even better if you get the microfiber, the Alcantara surface, then you'll have even more comfort. Wow. Really incredible. What a phenomenal drive here, and the German motorway really shows what the car is capable of. Did anyone notice I changed clothes? Whatever. So now RS2 mode, up the hill. Motorbike pass, now we can go. Holy mode. Wow. Instant torque. Wow. Really super cool. Rear axis steering helping me at lower speeds, so this makes the car super agile, and what a precise control of the steering wheel once again. I mean, we are in a huge SUV, we are moving so much weight, and yet it's so agile and just a brutal performance when you hit the throttle. It's really great. And comparing, for example, also the Mercedes AMG GLE63 or the BMW X5 or X6M, I think with the Audi top performance with the RS model, they still keep more comfort. That's what I really like about the Audi RS model. They have great compromise of comfort and sportiness. You don't miss sportiness, you don't miss comfort either. That's really cool. So good everyday driver. Driving up these curvy roads, so much fun. You're so much in control, so much precision. That is really German engineering at its best, and that doesn't matter if I come from Germany or not. That's just a fact in this case. I love British vehicles. I'm really looking forward to how the DBX performs here, but this is really flawless performance here. Also tune into our episode with the RS2A from Tenerife, by the way. That was a blast, and actually my last trip together with my dad, with Olga. Long-term subscribers still know him. Sadly, he died last year in a quite horrible way. So this car also, when I'm driving it, always reminds me of the great memories we had together. And if you can do a great car trip with your son, with your father, depending on what's your family situation now and how old you are. Let's go. That's 180 kilometers an hour. Wow. I mean, sound-wise, yeah, definitely more screaming from this one. Steering a little bit loose in the low degree angles, I think, but super stable on the road. Noise insulation also top notch. Maybe a little bit lower than in the Audi RSQ8. Lane change here at higher speeds. Very stable, good control. Steering indeed, the Audi RSQ8 has a little bit better steering input. It's a little bit safer, a little bit better to control, but I mean, this one here also with the anti-roll control, it just keeps upright, really massive, hard on the brakes. Yeah, great braking performance. And this exhaust is screaming definitely louder than the Audi RSQ8. The very first driving review we had with the RSQ8, see the crackles and plops. The very first driving review of the RSQ8 was louder, now with new regulations and so on, a little bit more silent. So it feels faster here. It feels faster than the Aston Martin, it feels quicker, but it's not. The RSQ8 is quicker on paper, but it feels the other way around. That's the thing about this vehicle. More this emotional approach, more screaming out, sensual design, also both exterior, interior, and loud exhaust and so on. But the thing is, you know, in the past, sometimes with the British vehicles, it was then, yeah, and then you also have to live for maybe some technology flaws and something. It's not the case here at all. It's great engineering work as well. To me, it's the best Aston Martin I've ever driven, also on the technology scale, definitely. So it really offers both sensation and also very good driving performance. Yeah, I mean, the steering is good, no doubt about that. It's just that the Audi steering is perfect. You know, that's one of the differences. Suspension-wise, it really depends on the driving mode. You can also go to this GT driving mode, and then the air suspension gives you a little bit more comfort. So the suspension, also great job. From the setup, a little bit stiffer here with the Aston Martin, if you compare it to the Audi RSQ8 S4 suspension. Ooh, here, action in the tunnel. And I want to do it one more time with the acceleration. Also here with the shifting pedals, the freestanding. They don't move together with the steering wheel. They are standing still and feel very great. So one more time, go to Sports Plus mode. And now I want to shift myself. Also shift down yourself, of course, like this. That's pretty cool. Let's go to second gear one more time, shall we? Wow, that corner here, Nürburgring Nordschleife alike, super stable on the road. And I mean, suddenly I'm forgetting I'm in a Aston Martin SUV. I rather feel like in an Aston Martin race car. Woo! That is really racy. Wow. 230 kilometers an hour. Well, it's allowed here. Yeah. At least still at the moment. Sure if that will change in the future, but wow. Really great job. Now again, back to normal speed, shifting down ourselves. Wow, the shifting experience, like, listen to that. Click. Up and down, and like, wow. Really awesome shifting pedals. I would probably spend all day just shifting by myself. So once again, yeah, the emotional factor here, really awesome, man. And of course, what about driving up the hill with the DBX? And now driving up Autogefühl's peak with the Aston Martin DBX. Screaming from the exhaust. See? Also great performance, definitely. Nice rear bias, all-wheel drive as well. More screaming from the exhaust. Yeah, here now in these corners. has a little bit more effect that the steering is good, but not perfect. So a little bit of feeling in the steering would be cooler, definitely. But yeah, it's very nice and it's very small. That makes the car very fun to control as well here. Suspension definitely stiffer than for the RSQ8, but that's of course quite helpful in these corners. Shifting down my cells, of course, looks fun here. A little bit more loose it feels. The RSQ8 feels more like engineering perfection, and this one here, once again, a little bit more emotion and wow. Definitely cool. And now the hairpin corner, that's always very interesting. First gear. Yes! Oh, I'm having so much fun here as well. Oh, and there's Michel. He wants to take a great shot from the outside. Shall we also give him a little bit of sound? Let's go. Yeah, I mean, what a cool driving experience here as well. So much fun. It's such a tough choice. Both really come very close. Yes, the Aston Martin is more expensive.
And now we're out on the highway here in the RSQ8, and it's really great. Now, of course, it has all the top safety tech you'd be expecting out of a fully loaded Audi. So everything you can think of is covered here and more, and it's got, even for example, this one has the optional night vision, really great to have. And then, you know, we're currently having the adaptive cruise control system on with the lane centering assist, and it's doing a really good job here steering. Audi system has been pretty good in my experience. It hasn't been totally perfect depending on the vehicle.